Okay, you guys. So today I'm going to have you watch a video. It's called Every Way to Cook an Egg, and there are, like it says, quite a few methods by Bon Appetit. And so, what I like about this is you can just see, just by taking an egg, how many different ways there are to prepare it, and maybe you'll choose one of these for your egg cooking lab this week. So, pretty much most of the time, your ingredients are a pan, some butter, and your eggs. And then sometimes they get into more specialty stuff. There are a few that are kind of silly. There are some that use just some common appliances you might have in your house. So let's just learn how to make some eggs all sorts of different ways.
Sunny side up egg. What we're looking for here is no color or crispiness on the white and then a yolk that's just runny and ready to burst. We're not going to flip it, a little bit of salt, and there you have it, our sunny side up egg. This looks like an emoji egg. The white is kind of slippery in a really appealing way, and that yolk is ready to pop. It's barely gelled. This is what you want for your rice bowl or on top of something like a mushroom toast. It's delicious and very simple. Olive oil fried egg. This time, crispiness is the name of the game, so we need high heat. Throwing on my salt, that, my friends, is an olive oil fried egg. You have this nice contrast between these really crispy, lacy edges, and then right here is just barely cooked. So you're getting a lot of flavor from the olive oil and a nice textural contrast between the super rich, oozy yolk and this almost pork rindy white. This is definitely one of our favorite ways to cook an egg. Olive oil fried and basted egg. We're gonna fry another egg, but this time we're gonna baste it, which means we're gonna spoon hot olive oil over the top of the egg while it cooks. Ooh, yeah, that hurt. Doesn't feel good, but we're not gonna be a baby about it. So the biggest difference here, where the last time we had a little bit of uncookedness right around the yolk, here it's completely cooked. That tastes great, and this is a great way to make a fried egg for somebody who's kind of likes that runny yolk but is squeamish about uncooked white. Olive oil fried and steamed egg. This time, instead of basting the egg with hot oil, we're going to add a little bit of water and cover it, which is going to produce steam that's going to help to cook the egg. We're going to leave it in there for probably about a minute. So right off the bat, you're definitely seeing quite a bit of this crispy outside part, and it's pretty well browned underneath. You still have that nice runniness, but again, it's much thicker than some of the other yolk that we've been dealing with. It's good. Over easy, over medium, and over hard eggs. We're going to cook them for about 2 to 3 minutes on this first side, and the only difference between these three eggs is once we flip them, they're going to spend different amounts of time on that second side, which is going to dramatically change the texture of the yolk. So here we have our three classic diner eggs. So over easy, you can see the white is still super tender, and the yolk is just barely cooked. It's very fluid and runny. The over medium, the yolk is definitely a little bit more cooked. It's thicker and kind of oozing out a lot more slowly. And here with the over hard, you can see the yolk is completely cooked. It almost looks like an 8-minute boiled egg or something like that. And the white is definitely a little bit rubbery for that one. So something for everyone. Salt block fried egg. The idea here is that it retains a lot of heat and it'll maybe season the egg somewhat. It's also taking a really long time to cook. So there's your salt block fried egg. It's good, but it's definitely not the most efficient or effective way to cook an egg. McMuffin egg. We're going to use a ring mold, which is going to contain the egg so it doesn't just leak out everywhere. We want that yolk to be fully cooked because you're going to eat it in the car. And there we have a perfect egg McMuffin egg. The main benefit of this is definitely portability, and for anybody who's fully disgusted by runny yolk. Cracked and scrambled egg. We're just going to crack these eggs directly into a pan that's set over medium to medium low heat, and we're just going to scramble them as we go. We don't want it to be too hot, otherwise our eggs are going to get cooked too quickly. Always make sure to pull your scrambled eggs before you think they're done to account for carryover cooking. There you have it, cracked in the pan and scrambled. So what you're going to notice here are these kind of distinct bits, like that's mostly yolk, here you have mostly white. You definitely have some bits which are a lot richer and some that are a little bit leaner, but there's nothing wrong with this method for scrambling eggs. Low and slow scrambled egg. All right, scrambled eggs round two. This time we're going to beat them first, and we're going to cook them really low and slow, which is my favorite way to make eggs. You're continuing to stir so you don't have any kind of big sheets of egg. We want the texture to almost be like ricotta or cottage cheese. And there you have some beautiful soft scrambled eggs. You notice that the texture is like curdy. The French would use the term bavousse, which actually means dog snot. Delicious, right? There are a lot of people who would think that eggs like this are kind of undercooked. To me, this is perfect. Hot and fast scrambled egg. Scrambled eggs, round three, but hot and fast this time. We're going to beat the eggs together, make sure they're fully incorporated, and you're going to have to start moving these eggs around as soon as they hit the pan. They're going to cook in less than a minute. Unlike last time where you had that kind of curdy texture, this time we're going for little ribbons or sheets of egg. These are hot and fast scrambled eggs. These are not overcooked, they're not rubbery by any means, but you do definitely have a little bit more of the texture of the pan. It's not quite something that you would spoon up, you really want to get your fork in there. Put that on some toast. Boiled eggs. So we're going to set 4 separate timers: 5 minutes, 6.5 minutes, 8 minutes, and 10 minutes. The eggs are all going to go at the same time into already boiling water. We're going to pull the eggs out after these things go off, get them into ice baths, which helps separate the membrane from the actual egg itself. You can't eat a boiled egg without peeling it first. It's interesting to note that it's actually easier to peel an egg that is older rather than a super farm fresh egg. And voila, a boiled egg. Okay, so looking at all these boiled eggs, we're really able to see the way that time affects the white and the yolk. Let's start here with our 5-minute egg. You can see it has an almost runny white and a completely liquid yolk. Great for dipping toast into. This is our 6.5-minute egg. I feel like this has the most appealing sort of contrast between that really soft yolk and a fully cooked white. Next up, our 8-minute egg. There's no running whatsoever. The yolk is still very orange and isn't chalky at all. That's really nice. And last but not least, we have our 10-minute egg. Firm whites and a yellow yolk that has just a bit of that orange jamminess. This is like the kind of thing I just want to keep in the fridge to pull out whenever I'm super hungry. Steamed egg. So we've boiled eggs, but now we're gonna steam them. This is effectively the same thing. Cool thing about this is you don't have to wait for a whole pot of water to boil, and it doesn't matter how many eggs you put in there, they're all gonna have the same amount of steam circulating around them, which is really cool. And here we have our steamed egg. So what we have right here is a really nice looking 8-minute egg. The white is very tender. We've got this nice jammy looking yolk. Personally, this is one of my favorite methods for hard boiling eggs. Instant Pot egg. Welcome to hell, kids. This is an Instant Pot. It's a pressure cooker. It's a slow cooker. It does a lot of other things that you can probably do with other things you already have in your kitchen. We're going to set this thing to 5 minutes. We're going to get that egg in there, and when it's done, we're going to vent it, which releases the pressure. And there you go. All right, so here we have our pressure-cooked egg. To me, that's an overcooked boiled egg. This actually took longer and did a worse job. So yeah, steaming, boiling, a much better option. Sous vide egg. Normally something is sealed inside a plastic pouch and then put into a water bath that's at a consistent temperature for a specific amount of time. In this case, no bag, the egg is its own bag. So we're just gonna let that immersion circulator move the water around at that very consistent temperature for around 45 minutes. And we're good to go. So this is our sous vide egg. The yolk's wiggly, the white's wiggly, everything's wiggly. That's delicious. The sensation in your mouth is almost like an egg jelly. But if runny eggs are not your thing, this is not for you. Pickled egg. So now we're going to have some fun with our 8-minute boiled eggs by pickling them in a beet-infused vinegar mixture. So we've got some distilled white vinegar, a cup of water, some salt, sugar, and then we're going to throw in some beets. And once that comes to a boil, we're going to know our mixture is ready, put a lid on it, and boom. Now we're just going to wait. And here we have our pickled eggs. These have been sitting in that pickling liquid for 24 hours. It's tasty. You definitely get some of the sweetness of the beet, definitely get the sugar. This would make a really nice addition to a picnic spread. Tea egg. We're going to take cinnamon, star anise, peppercorns, cloves, fennel seed, sugar, salt, soy sauce, and of course, tea. We've got our soft-boiled eggs. We're going to crack them all over with the back of the spoon. Then we're going to submerge them in this liquid and let them cook for about 30 minutes. We're going to add some ice, which is going to cool things off. Then we're going to cover them with the marinade to let them pick up even more color over the course of the next day. Look at that beautiful tea-stained egg. It's got this stained glass-looking exterior. It's delicious. You really get those spices. This is a really fun way to eat an egg. Poached egg, the brunch time favorite. We don't actually want this water to be boiling. It's just at the barest simmer. And then we're going to use our spoon to create a vortex, and then we're going to plop the egg right in it, which is going to help to kind of blast off any of the wispy parts. See, now it's starting to form kind of a nice little package. I'm actually pretty impressed with myself. This is hard to do. So here you can tell that the white is totally cooked, and when you poke it, you can tell that the yolk is still nice and fluid, almost like a yolk water balloon. This is the platonic ideal of the poached egg. This is awesome. Egg poached in tomato sauce. Basically, the idea is you have a hot tomato-based sauce, and then you're going to create a little well in the middle of it, pop your egg right in there, and let the heat of the simmering sauce cook the eggs. In a dream world, the white is all cooked, and the yolk is still a little bit runny. See, I'm kind of concerned here that the bottom part of the egg got the lion's share of the heat. The tomato sauce is kind of an imprecise cooking medium, so it's not conducting heat as consistently as a pan full of water is going to. But it does add a lot of flavor, which is exciting. I don't know, I could go either way on this one. Microwave scrambled eggs. we're going to use this little egg holder to make scrambled eggs. Add a little bit of milk to help it out, and then put that in the microwave for 40 seconds. Breakfast. I gotta be real, this looks pretty gross. I don't know why you would do this. Don't. Microwave poached egg. Microwave round 2, revenge of the microwave. This time, we're gonna try to poach an egg in here. 27 seconds. That is an egg poached in the microwave? This is not good. This looks really, really gross. The microwave might save some time, but it also makes bad eggs. Pass. George Foreman egg. All right, this is a George Foreman grill. You know it, you love it. We're gonna open this up, non-stick spray, crack an egg on there, close it, and walk away. And that, my friends, is an egg cooked on a George Foreman grill. I mean, this is a depressing way to cook an egg, you know? It's fully cooked, the yolk is pretty gnarly looking. I mean, if you had to, you could cook an egg this way. I'm really sorry. Waffle iron egg. I mean, we've used every other appliance in the kitchen, so we may as well try a waffle iron. I'm just going to lube it up a little bit, crack an egg right in there, and close this. Wow, there's a lot of steam coming off of this guy. Oh my god, that is our waffle iron cooked egg. This looks like some kind of alien, like a face hugger or something. You can definitely see that the yolk is pretty unpleasant and overcooked. This is not a particularly delicious egg. Waffled egg, not so much. Blowtorched egg. This is an egg. This is a blowtorch. We're gonna crack this egg right onto a sheet pan, and then we're gonna cook it with our blowtorch. We've got a little diffuser on here to kind of help disperse the heat a little bit more evenly. And we're just gonna blast this thing with open flame until it's done, I guess? Oof. This, I think we can say this is not an effective way to cook an egg. Diner style omelet. All right, so we've got our pan on medium heat. We're gonna put a little butter in there to heat up until it's almost browning. We really wanna beat these eggs together until we don't see any streaks of egg white. We're gonna pour the eggs in, and as you can see, it's starting to cook immediately. So I'm just gonna kind of start nudging it along with my spatula, then fold it over, flip that out, and that is your diner style omelet. So a diner style omelet is normally kind of a blank canvas for all of the sorts of fillings that you might put into it. It's not normally about the eggs themselves. This would be delicious with some ham and peppers and cheese. French omelet. This time, we're using low heat, and this is going to come together much more slowly. We're going to beat our eggs, get a little bit of butter in the pan, we're going to pour our eggs in, and then we're going to start stirring constantly. We want the kind of curdy sort of texture. As soon as we start to form a little bit of skin, we're going to start rolling, and then we're going to flip it out, and voila. That is a French omelet. This is a much more refined, delicate style of omelet. This is all about the egg. You don't really need to add any toppings or fillings here. Very creamy, very tender. This is a beautiful way to cook an egg. Souffle omelet. This is a modern novelty omelet. So in this case, we're gonna separate the whites and the yolks. We're gonna beat the whites until they're fluffy, like you would for a meringue. Then we're gonna fold the yolks back into the whites, transfer that to a hot pan with butter, put a plate over top to make sure the top cooks as well, and then we're gonna fold it, flip it out onto the plate, and that is a souffled omelet. This is huge. That's because of all of the air that we beat into the eggs before we cooked them. Has a light, cakey, fluffy sort of texture. Definitely not something I'd want to eat every day, but definitely interesting. Cloud egg. The cloud egg was kind of a novelty that was popular on Instagram for a little while. We're gonna separate the yolk from the white like we did for the souffled omelet. We're gonna dollop that on this baking sheet, and this is gonna go into the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. Now we're gonna pull it out, and we're gonna drop our yolk back into that little pocket that we made and bake it until we have the consistency of a sunny side up egg. And that, folks, is a cloud egg. This is kind of a deconstructed egg. It's a little bit high concept. This one is interesting tasting. It's really more for the gram than it is for the mouth. Chinese style steamed egg custard. So here we have a couple of eggs. We're gonna mix those with some soy sauce to season it, some chicken stock. We're gonna transfer the eggs to a bowl. We're gonna put the whole bowl into the steamer basket, cover it with a plate, and then put the lid on the pot. And we're gonna let the steam kind of gently cook the entire thing until it's wobbly and custardy. Okay, so this is really cool. As you can see, it's pretty firm. It almost has the texture of a pie filling. Very silky. This is a win. This would be awesome if you drizzle a little bit of sesame oil on top, maybe some scallions. Absolutely delicious. Coddled egg. So what we have here is an egg coddler. It's kind of a mini pot that we're gonna put the egg in along with a little bit of cream, and then we're gonna close it up and then submerge that in barely simmering water. And there we have our flying saucer touchdown. That is a coddled egg. All right, so we're gonna take the lid off. Ooh, that smells really good. Basically, the cream helped to create a gentle cooking medium for the egg. The lid helped to trap some steam, so it cooked all the way around. What I really want is a couple of toast soldiers to dunk in there. It's very tasty. Shirred egg. So now we're going to make a shirred egg, which is similar to a coddled egg, but this time it's going to be open in a ramekin and in the oven. We're going to pop that in a 375-degree oven between 12 and 15 minutes. I can tell that we overcooked this one a little bit, but you still have a little bit of that oozing egg yolk. It's kind of cute. Might be more delicious if you added a little bit of cheese, made it like a little egg pot for brunch. Still has good flavor. This is a nice little self-contained dish. Air fried egg. All right, we couldn't not use an air fryer. An air fryer is basically a tiny convection oven. So we've got a ramekin all buttered up. We're gonna crack our egg into it, a little bit of salt, a little bit of cream, open our air fryer and put this guy right in there and close it. We're gonna set it to 300 degrees for like 12 minutes and see what comes out on the other side. So this actually has a similar-ish texture to the shirred egg, except it's definitely a lot more rubbery. It's actually fairly tasty. It took 12 minutes. You could easily fry an egg in that amount of time on the stovetop and not have to deal with this ridiculous contraption. Deep fried egg. I'm gonna crack an egg into this ladle and then try to get it in there from as far away as I can possibly get, because I'm worried this is gonna just explode all over me. Wow, it looks like a weird jellyfish. That, my friends, is a deep fried egg. This is definitely a dangerous way to make eggs, but honestly, that's surprisingly good. This might be America's best new egg. Dehydrated egg. First things first, we're gonna blend these eggs up really well. Then we're gonna pour them into this nice little rack with a lip, close the door, and turn the dehydrator on for about 6 hours. Oh God, it looks like fried cheese. I've heard that some people dehydrate eggs and then take them camping, but unless you're like hiking the Appalachian Trail, I don't think this is a very good way to cook eggs. Frittata. So now we're gonna make a frittata, which is basically just a quiche without a crust. We're gonna crack some eggs, beat them together, add salt, 2 ounces of milk, just to lighten it up. So we're gonna start on the stovetop, medium-high heat, just until the edges start to set, and then finish in a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes until it's golden brown and the center is set. This is basically just baked egg. The egg is fairly tender. It really wants some cheese and other things in here. Otherwise, it's really not that much to